friends, it's Teresa at Teresa's Wonderful Frugal Life. Today I want to talk to you a little bit about what happens when the SHTF happens in your own personal life. You know, we see a lot of videos, get a lot of information about global collapse or an economic collapse here in the States. But what happens when it happens to you personally? And that's what happened to me. For those of you who keep up with my videos, you know that last year I had a routine colonoscopy, not a single thing wrong with me, very, very healthy, and but the doctor perforated my colon and didn't realize it, sent me home, and after that I give bits and pieces of this in my videos, but there were a long string of major surgeries and septic infections and things like that. And when I came out of it all, which I did, but I had lost my business. I had a cleaning business, and I had about 14 to 15 regular customers, steady customers, but I was laid up for about 8 months, so couldn't go to work, couldn't collect unemployment. I'm self-employed, and long story, but yeah, I lost most of my business. I have 4, but I say 3.5 customers now because one's only 2 hours. So it's really forced me into frugality, and I was always frugal anyway, and I always really enjoyed that challenge, like living on very little and living very well. But this forced me into it even deeper. And but the interesting thing about losing my business is there are so many things that I do that I love, but I couldn't really do them for work because I was too busy working. And I couldn't take the risk of like stepping off the financial cliff to do them, really to just support myself, just doing those things. One of them is I'm an artist. There's one of my paintings behind me, and I love to paint. I've always painted, and I do show my work, but I could never really accelerate it and paint enough to earn an income that I could live on because I had to go to work. I'm writing a book, and I'm actually writing a book about my experience with the medical industry. And so I'm really busy doing that, and I wouldn't be doing it if it didn't happen. And I always knew that I was a good storyteller, and that I had the writing gene, but I never had the time to do it. So now I do, and I'm busy with it, and it's coming along really great. The other thing is accelerating my YouTube channel. Now I have time for this. So this is just my new life. Is instead of stepping off the cliff into different ventures, I was sort of pushed there, but I see it as a blessing, and I just wanted to share some frugal things that I came up with in the past week. So I have a little under 2 acres of land, and it's very rocky. I live in New England, and lots of big trees, lots of boulders, things like that. So it's not all really. I'm not able to garden on all of it, but I do have some good gardening space. I grow lots of herbs, green beans, peas, some cherry tomatoes, rhubarb. I planted a lot of asparagus year before last, so I'm anxious to see how that does this spring. I've got 2 peach trees, 1 pear tree, 1 apple tree. No, 2 pear trees, 1 apple tree. And anyway, so I've never really done canning before. I've done canning with a friend who was very knowledgeable about it. So I've been part of the process, but I never did it myself. And but now I'm going to do it. And so I went to a thrift store about a week ago, and for $10, I got, I don't know if you can see this because I had to use my laptop, but I got this humongous box of jars, and they're regular and wide mouth jars, pint-sized jars. They're in perfect condition. I really don't think they were ever used. Somebody probably got a good idea to can and then didn't do it. But I'm super excited. I always really wanted to get into this deeper than I have. because we have a lot of farm stands. I live in a rural place, and we have farm stands near me where they're all organic, and they grow tomatoes like this big, and they're $1 each. And I buy so many of them. I grow some cherry tomatoes, but I don't really have the room to grow those big, massive tomatoes. Let somebody else do that work and take up that space. And then toward the end of the season, they're practically giving them away. Then they're 50 cents each, and they're wonderful. So I can't wait to make sauces and jams and jellies and things like that. And now I have the time. So in $10, I got all those jars. I got the water bath pot with the rack, and let's see, I got the canning set. I got all the tools, everything, funnel, the can grabber, dealio, all of it for $10. I'm super excited. And yeah, so that's going to be a fun journey. I love working with food. That's one of my passions, is cooking and preserving. And I do a lot of berry picking, a lot of foraging, fiddlehead ferns and blueberries, things like that. The fiddleheads I just eat up right away, because you really want to eat them when they're just fresh and wonderful. I wouldn't preserve them. Blueberries I either dehydrate or freeze. And I have a medium-sized chest freezer in my basement that I love, but I live in New England, and we get some pretty rough storms, and I don't remember what year it was. I think it was like maybe 10 years ago. We had a power outage. We had a freak ice storm, and the power outage lasted 9 days. So if you're relying on your freezer, you can lose it all. So this is excellent. I'm super excited about it. And yeah, so off to have a great day. And one thing that I want to say when I do these videos, and I do talk about that botched colonoscopy, it is still very important to have a colonoscopy. I personally know 2 people who died within this past year from colon cancer because they were never screened, so they never caught it early. And so I'm not trying to discourage anybody against having one, but know your risks, and know that if something does happen, it's not likely you're going to get much legal representation because it is a known risk. So just keep that in mind. Take good care of yourself. All right, get screened. Have a great day, and I'll see you with the next frugal challenge, frugal update. Bye-bye.